Hey, it's Game Hydro. We got another video about Galaxy Defense Fortress TD, and we're going to go over how to beat Stage 15 Normal, which is a grotesquely overpowered stage that a lot of folks are feeling like now it's pay to win, but we did it without spending any money on the game whatsoever. We're going to show you exactly what we did. Now, as you can see, I'm at stage 20 now, and it took a while to rebeat stage 15 after beating it again. But now I'm confident that pretty much any of my strategies will work. So let me show you what we're running with first, equipment-wise. All of this equipment is tier 1 except for the gun, but we have 3 pieces of epic equipment and 2 pieces of legendary equipment, all of it upgraded to 16, 17, or 18. And of course, lots of that is by lots of gear enhancements. Now, for the epic equipment, generally the best idea is to reforge it to energy attacks, beam attacks, or just for this, laser attacks. Of course, the Guardian attack doesn't hurt, but for this stage, it doesn't help a ton either. In the Fortress upgrades, which is next to the picture of your Guardian guy, we've upgraded the Fortress to level 19. If you haven't unlocked that, you'll unlock it once you hit about experience level 25 or 30 or something like that. Now, to get all that legendary equipment, we play the Global Defense once a day. And as the diamonds allow, sometimes we play it multiple times a day. All right, so without further ado, stage 15. Now, to see what we're coming up against, hit the pause screen, go to the enemy screen. Conflict entity, that one's not too bad, takes 50% more fire and energy damage. Rapid virus takes 50% more physical and energy damage. Energy virus, this one is the one that'll really ruin your day. Grants shields to surrounding enemies upon being eliminated, takes 50% less force field damage, takes 15% more energy damage. So there is a common thread among all of the enemies in the game, or in the stage rather, is that they all take energy damage. So for this reason, we're going to run with the beam and the laser as our 2 main sources of our main turrets here, because all of those do 150% damage. And here is the laser. The third piece of equipment that we like to use is the fire wheel, because that simply just deals crazy amounts of damage to anybody. And to lots of enemies at the same time. So we're going to build the fire wheel here. Fourth piece of equipment, all 3 times that I've beaten the level, I used lightning as my 3rd piece of equipment, or my 4th rather. That one's not necessarily as important as some of the others though. You can go with kind of the skill you want here, as long as it is a skill that doesn't suck. Sometime at one point I actually did win using disruption drone instead of lightning, but generally it's recommended not to use the force field ones, because the round virus thing that creates the shields is strong against force fields. All right, so beam boost again. And yes, I know what I said about lasers in my guide to the best turrets, which I did in another video, but just trust me on this, because of the universal weakness against energy damage. All right, we're going to go laser reflection here. Because of the universal weakness that all of these enemies have against energy damage, you want to use the laser here. So we're going to let this run down a bit. We're still in the easy stage, or the easy part of the stage, only level 8 so far. If you haven't caught on yet, each stage has 20 levels. All right, I'm going to pause the video because I don't like any of these options, so I'm going to do the add video refresh and then come back to it. All right, add video refresh is done. I'm not going to pick the Tesla coil here. I like the beam boost because the beam already is one of the recommended turrets. So the beam boost increases the damage by 50%. That leaves you in a pretty good position. And you can see in the top left corner, we turned on the boss targeting icon. That is because the boss targeting feature works really well for this boss. Out of these three options, I'm going to go Sky Guard. I don't like it as much as Lightning, but I'll go with it. Yeah, the boss targeting works well here because the boss on this level has a very strong attack and will absolutely ruin your day very quickly. Let's go Skyguard Missile +1. No, let's go Firewheel Drone Size. So far, still not on one of the tougher segments of the level. That will be when the boss appears, because the boss will start ramming into your fortress fairly quickly if you don't kill it quickly. Beam cooldown speed, we're going to go with that. And here comes the boss. So we're going to start shooting at the boss early and let the turrets take care of the little guys. Now, of course, the bullet damage isn't all that high right now, but any little bit counts against this boss. Laser duration +40 is a pretty good one for what we're trying to do here, although firewheel damage +50 is also a good one, because the firewheel does a lot of damage against the bosses. Laser reflection, going with that. Yeah, the firewheel can loiter over the boss for a fairly long period of time. So that tends to be a pretty good option. But right now, the Devouring Virus is the boss, and we're going to target the Devouring Virus with the guns. Damage multiplier on the beam, that's a pretty strong one. I'm going with that. So what that does is it decreases the interval between beam damages by 40%. That makes the beam extra effective at targeting enemies that are close to your fortress. And the volume of small enemies is starting to increase here, but stay focused on the boss for now. Almost done with the boss. Laser width 100%. That's a pretty nice one, although the Firewheel mini drone summoner also pretty strong. The boss is gone now, and we were able to get to the boss before it even had a chance to ram the fortress. Let's see what we can tap. Explosion spread with the Sky Guard. That's pretty good. Now your gun is going to serve a different purpose. All of these little round viruses are going to cause shields to pop up. So use your gun to try to dispel the shields, because the shields only block one hit. So basically you're going to go side to side and dispel shields as quickly as you can. Laser amplification, let's go with that, because the laser is still excellent for doing lots of damage to lots of enemies at a time. There's a lot of small enemies here. Luckily, they don't really do a ton of damage, even in large quantities. So we're going to go with bullet penetration here, making it, because the bullet that makes it extra effective at dispelling shields, which will allow the beam and your other stuff to get a little more work in. Now we're at level 18. As you can see, the fortress is still above 50%. That's definitely a good thing. What do we get? Each hit from the beam triggers an explosion. I've actually never seen that one before. I'm going with it. All right, that laser is doing some good work. And the beam Now the beam is really getting to work fast because that explosion's powerful. Laser amplification again. Let's do it. Because as we've established here, the laser is actually very important for this stage. For some of the other stages, I'd never use the laser really. But for this stage, because of the 150% damage boost, the laser is practically a requirement. I've only beaten this level once without the laser, and that is my 4th time beating it with the laser. And that's a new record for us. 74% hit points left on the fortress. So now we don't actually have any new chests to open after that, but that's how you beat normal stage 15. Now, to get a perfect clear on normal stage 15, honestly, your best bet is to do pretty much the same thing, except you just gotta increase your power a little more. Oh, I forgot to show you earlier. Over here is the levels that we have all of our turrets at. So the laser isn't one of our most leveled ones because we don't use it too often. Thunderbolt, beam, and firewheel, you can tell by the levels that those are the ones that we most frequently use. Thunderbolt, beam, firewheel. Hive actually is one of my favorite turrets to use on every level except level 15 as well, because the Hive also targets enemies that are close to your fortress. However, force field damage is dropped by 50% on level 15, which makes it almost as good as useless. So the Hive, highly degraded there. The gravity vortex gun, highly degraded there. The disruption drone. Now, the main reason you would want to use the disruption drone is not for the damage, but for slowing down large mobs of enemies. But in this case, the boss is far more dangerous than the large mobs, which is highly unusual compared to other levels. But that's why you don't want to necessarily use the disruption drone on level 15. Anyways, this is Game Hydro. Finally got the video together how to beat level 15. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you want to see something else about Galaxy Defense Fortress TD, then please leave a comment and we will try to get to it.